Okay, so today we are kicking off with a new list that's been kicking about. I have not played this very much. It's a interesting Doomsday pile, interesting Doomsday deck that's kind of come about due to the release of a new win con to kind of replace Tendrils and Labman, which have in the Shelldock Isle pile, which have traditionally been the main win cons for Doomsday. So you build a pile that either lets you get enough Storm, whether or not that's via double Doomsday or something like just casting a couple of cantrips into a Doomsday, then draw into your pile to cast the rest of it, to enable Tendrils, or trying to get all 5 cards out of your library to cast a Labman, then draw a card, or just something like, stack your library, play your Shelldock Isle, and then use that to Emrakul, take an extra turn, bash, kill that way. What we're actually doing now is we have Thassa's Oracle, which gets around some of the kind of restrictions that Labman used to have, which is that it doesn't actually require that you only have, that you're completely out of cards in your library. Usually, if they can't remove the Oracle, you can just win the game with 2 cards in library. Just makes it a little bit easier. The basic piles are things like draw into a predict, predict away the Oracle, draw something like Lotus Petal and the Unearth, unearth the Oracle, and that's usually a win. So I have been tinkering around a little bit with my Twitch interface, by the way. I'm not sure if the mic works. I haven't actually tested this. I just hope it looks a little bit more aesthetically pleasing than it has prior. Now, back to the deck, we've got another new card, fairly new card in Veil of Summer. It's like an extra protection spell. We get to play 4 Force of Will if we're not playing Tendrils. We're no longer quite so contingent on Lion's Eye Diamond, so we're down to 1 copy. And we just play, a handful of discard spells as well. Cabal Therapy enabled with Strix. Okay, cool, no worries. It's a bit hard to hear. Let me know when it drops out a little bit, and I'll try and fix that. In the sideboard, we have a secondary plan for if we think Doomsday might be a little bit difficult. We use Divining Witch, which can actually do 2 things. It can get the Oracle, and then it can remove your library so that the Oracle is actually enabled pretty much on the spot, right? You just exile all your cards with the Oracle trigger on the stack, and it no longer matters if the Oracle gets removed at that point. So they're kind of our cheeky little win cons. Surgical Extraction to do with things like Reanimator, and Snare is a fog effect. Managing life total can be a challenge with Doomsday. Thanks, Justin. I'm glad we have somebody here to make sure that we are going to allow profanity. All right, so we're going to just get cracking on this. I'm probably going to punt a lot. I have only played a very small number of matches with this deck, and last time I played it, I fucked up a lot. So let's see how we go today. For the rest of it, we're just playing things like the entire blue cantrip package, cool, and a couple of draw effects, so Street Wraith and Edge of Autumn to draw into piles if we don't have any other enabler, and Waterlogged Grove as an alternative way to draw into a pile as well. Alright, Yokel will be on Storm in my experience, so I think we're going to lead on a Thoughtseize if we get to, if he doesn't discard us first. This is, I can't remember his name from the source, but He's been around for a long time. We're going to keep this hand, by the way. We've got a couple of cantrips. We've got discard spells. We don't really want the Unearth. But we can always cycle it later. Okay, so Thoughtseize will allow that. He's probably going to have to take the Force unless he has lots of other discard spells. So I think if he takes the Thoughtseize, we might Therapy name Infernal Tutor. If he takes the Force of Will, will Thoughtseize. I think we're going to hold off a turn on the Preordains. I don't think we're in a mad rush to fire them off at the moment. It's also possible he's on something like Delver. I wouldn't expect it, but he might be, in which case, a hand's going to be a little bit soft to a Wasteland here. Okay, cool. So he took the Thoughtseize. That is a pretty sure sign that he's actually on Storm. Okay, Dark Ritual's not a bad pickup. And we want an Underground Sea here to Cabal Therapy. Infernal Tutor is probably the correct name, but I'm wondering if we should pretend if we're playing in the blind, in which case we'd probably want to name Brainstorm. This is a tough one. Okay, let's name Brainstorm. Oh, okay, so he's definitely on Storm, and we've whiffed, but he doesn't actually have a lot going in here, so I think we're actually in pretty good shape. Sorry, I'm trying to keep track of a couple of things. Yeah, Cland is definitely Jack Jiggins. Lion's Eye Diamond. So we actually know his entire hand right now. We're going to be in trouble if he draws a Breach, I think. And we're actually going to... Alright, let's actually take the second Force. I don't think we need to take the third one. So the reason we preordained off the sea there, in case anybody's curious, we might have drawn something like a Veil of Summer, at which point, we want to be able to hold that up. And at the moment, I think we have one discard spell left in our deck and 3 Veils, so we're better off playing towards the Veil. Yeah, so try to keep me in the loop if we lose the stream at any point. I should have really good upload speeds from here. I'm no longer streaming off my mobile phone, which is nice. I think we actually should have a really good upload speed. Okay, so that's the extra pedal. Is he going to Grim? Grim for a Cabal Therapy would be a nuisance here. We don't want either of the Oracles, although maybe one to enable a Force of Will. With the other option being, we could play an Oracle and use it to take his Grim Tutor or his Grim Tutor maybe. That's probably not a bad play, to be honest. Okay, so we'll bottom, we'll top. So we get to enable Force of Will a little bit better from here. So we kind of want to draw another land, which means we might actually brainstorm end step, because we're going to get to... okay, we want to fire off the brainstorm anyway. And I don't think we want the Grove at the moment. Although maybe... okay, so if we go like Grove, Ponder... we'll shuffle away, we'll draw the Ponder, we'll shuffle away the Grove. Cast the Oracle. Or maybe we don't. So we don't need to make a decision on the fetch just yet anyway. And we can also pitch the Oracle. We have a second. It's kind of the nice thing about playing a second Oracle. So currently we have much better, like kind of, I guess you'd call it velocity than our opponent. We're cantripping heavily, and he's just kind of hoping that we eventually that he gets to draw out. So we're kind of getting to find all our cards. I guess we'll put the Grove on top of our library. We're going to fetch that away. And we're going to take the Grim Tutor here. It's possible he's got a Veil of Summer. Known Brain Freeze in hand, we should be able to do something with that. I think we can play to try to find a Veil. Okay, so he's got the Infernal Tutor as well. We could also consider trying to set up something like a double Doomsday pile. Maybe we do want the... actually, we probably do want the extra land. And we're going to cycle the Unearth end step, I think. We're not really doing much with it at the moment. Actually, Unearth is a good in hand is a good way to beat Brain Freeze. Okay. How do we do this? So I think we can let him take the Force, and we have something like 2 redraws here to find a Veil. So we don't need to have a cantrip on the Stack Jack. All we actually need to have is a way to get an Oracle into play, basically. So what we're actually going to do here is we are going to probably do something like Dark Ritual, Unearth, Cycle Waterlog Grove, and that will let us get 2 redraws. We're going to be down a card, but it gives us a better chance of finding Force of Will or Veil. We might fetch as well, and I think we might grab a Bayou. Actually, no, we probably want... This is tough. Okay, so Cabal Ritual. Okay, and I think we're going to try our luck here. Alright, so we're going to have double blue. Okay, so let's grab the Bayou so we've got an extra green up. And an extra black. We'll start by cycling Unearth. Oh, this is rough. No, okay, I think we can concede here. Okay, so if he's playing Breach, sorry, if he's playing Brain Freeze, he's definitely playing Breach. What do we want? We want something like a couple of Veils. Do we want Decays? Or we probably want Surgical Extractions, actually. And Flusterstorms. So we don't want Strixes. We don't want a Swamp. Maybe it's an island, actually. We probably don't want the island. We have... Yeah. So we have 15 blue sources. Okay. So we'll do that. We'll cut a Preordain. And maybe an Oracle. It's probably an Oracle. Or maybe it's a Street Wraith. So like double Oracle is less exciting if we it's less exciting if we're not playing against a fair deck. How long do we have to think about this? Another minute and a half. Okay. We want the Petals for velocity. We want the Lion's Eye Diamond. So I guess it's a Cycler or an Oracle. Yeah, I'm not boarding in Divining Witch. I don't think that's the right play in this particular situation. Divining Witch is really good, I think, in like some fair matchups, but here we're aiming to go fast. This is a bit of a slower card. Okay, we're down to a minute. Okay, with the Cabal Therapy, I guess we keep the Oracle, so it's clearly the Street Wraith. And my tin's starting to run out. I might have to try and grab another beer at some point, but I mean, look, it'd be really fun to get the witch to go off. All right, we're keeping this. We will. I guess we're going to trade the Flusterstorm for a turn 1 discard spell regardless. I think I like Underground Sea here. So just anecdotal, but I've always found Doomsday to be, from the Ant side, to be a really tough matchup. Okay, so I guess I like Preordain. I think we have enough lands. And I think we can play out the Petal. Actually, that was probably wrong. I think I was meant to draw the Veil there. So that's my mistake. Okay, so this is looking okay for us at the moment. I guess we want the fetch. I think we might just be able to... How much mana do we have? In a couple of turns we're going to be able to just Doomsday, I think. And draw into whatever pile we want. Brainstorm is fine. So how much mana are we going to have? Alright, we'll just keep making land drops for a little while now. We're kind of reasonably well protected. No, we don't want to cast Doomsday just yet. Opponent very likely brought in Flusterstorm himself. Which means the Veil is a little bit worse unprotected. And I think we can just play Draw Go for a little bit here. We have a lot going on and he doesn't necessarily. So it might be worth casting Doomsday next turn given... Yeah, that's probably not bad. And I guess if he flusters it, he flusters it. It's not the end of the world. And I think we're actually just going to pass the turn. Because I think we can just do like an Oracle predict pile from here. So what do we want? We want Lotus Petal, predict, Thassa's Oracle, Brainstorm lets us put back on top whatever we Veil. So we need Unearth for this. Maybe it's a Force of Will. I guess I can always predict on upkeep as well. Alright, so let's take a Force of Will. And what we're going to do is... we can always Brainstorm end step. So I guess we want Force of Will on top. You... Ah, my bad. Okay, Lotus Petal, that's our pile. So we want Lotus Petal, Unearth, Oracle, Predict, Force of Will. So Veil lets us draw the Force and hold up Force Brainstorm, which means that we predict on upkeep, take our Oracle... No, that doesn't work. But, okay, Waterlogged Grove into just hardcasting an Oracle also wins us the game here. So that's fine. So what'll happen is we were going to make a predict pile here. We're very likely to need the Veil, which is going to draw us a card, most likely. If it doesn't, we're still in good shape, because we can just draw into whatever we need. Ponder's fine. So we need to have a little bit of a think here. So we need to clear the force first. Storm count 2, we will Fluster Storm this. Or do we just Veil now? No, okay, so we lead on Fluster. So what this means is he might Fluster back. And if he Flusters back, we get to Veil in response. And our Veil should resolve. Okay, you can Dark Ritual. So what's on top? We have... Okay, I don't actually think we care about that. I think we actually have enough redraws here that we're going to get to... Yeah, okay, so Veil is going to let us draw a card. Draw Step will draw us a card. Brainstorm will let us see 3 cards, put 2 back in any order that we choose. So we are actually just gold. I guess maybe we should have Veiled to draw the... Yeah, we probably should have Veiled there to draw the Force. That was probably a punt. So we don't lose to Brain Freeze. We don't lose to... Okay, so if you bought in Grape Shot, we're probably fucked. But I don't think anything else gets us here. So maybe we should have Veiled before. Ad nauseum. Okay, let's see what he's got. He's got a Breach. So he needs like a Lotus Petal. The force is kind of needed right now because it deals with like a breach. That's the main reason. Empty. Oh, okay. He just lost. Okay, flipped empty. Maybe. Okay, so Infernal Tutor doesn't. Yeah, okay. We got a bit lucky. We definitely should have drawn the force. We're going to run the same 60 back. I think I don't see a reason to change. Like, Decay is nice at that. If it's at the right time, it can tag the breach, but I don't think that should be our game plan. Okay, so I like this hand. Veil, Fluster. We have a redraw in the Waterlogged Grove. All we need to do is dodge a discard spell on turn 1. I think we're fine to just say go here. We're taking a little bit of a defensive, but I don't think we need to be too aggressive with our cantrips just yet. I don't actually think we want any of these cards. The Force is kind of like a nice to have, but isn't doing what we want. We definitely didn't need the Underground Sea. I think we want to draw a Brainstorm right now. So yeah, I mean, we could have Veiled to draw, to try to draw the Force in front of the Adnors, but I don't think it was necessary. Like, we're kind of 20% chance isn't quite high enough, and Veiled's very likely going to be enough, barring exactly Grape Shot. And I'm not even sure if he plays that. So I guess he's probably going to... Yeah, we'll Veil here. I think if he does Fluster back, we're going to Fluster in response. And I guess we need to Fluster the Thoughtseize. Yep, okay, same targets. Just trying to figure out if I could do anything cheeky with Flustering as Fluster, but I don't think we can. It'd be nice to draw a card off the Veil, but... Alright, this is going to be messy. Does he have the Veil or does he have the Fluster Storm? He has the Veil. Alright, F6. And he gets to take a Dark Ritual. We couldn't Fluster the Fluster because he gets to pay for 1 copy, which just means when he does that, we're actually in a bit of an awkward spot. I mean, Veil was a nice pickup. I think we're going to play the Waterlogged Grove and we're just going to cycle it. We're kind of not super interested in the Grove right now, and we actually need cantrips, I think. Oh, shit. My bad. I yielded through the turn. Doomsday's nice, but we can't cast it just yet. So do we want to fetch first? No, I guess we just... Okay, Preordaine's nice. Do we want the Oracle? We don't want the Oracle. We don't want the Doomsday. We have a Doomsday. I think I actually want both Brainstorms here, believe it or not, because I think we're going to tuck 2 of these cards, and then okay, so we Brainstorm into Brainstorm, which then gives us a second chance of finding like a Force of Will. So what's he grabbing? Duress, absolutely. Has he played a land for turn? He has. So this could go wrong if he extirpates us right now. Although he can't at the moment, so this is fine. So we'll draw Doomsday off the top. What do we want here? Maybe we'll grab a Bayou now. I wonder if I'm playing this too conservatively. So if he's got anything at all, we're in a lot of trouble. But I think we have to Doomsday at this point. So what do we want? We want like... Do we want just like a bunch of draw effects and an Unearth? So what if we just go something like Edge of Autumn, Street Wraith, Brainstorm, Edge of Autumn, Street Wraith, Brainstorm, Unearth, and Preordain, Ponder? Ponder. Or do we want a cycling land? No, that costs us the same as a cantrip, but isn't as good. Okay, alright, we'll just take another draw. And we're going to go like, we'll put Unearth maybe at the bottom. So what if we go something like... So Brainstorm has to be maybe second from the bottom, and it's only in there. Actually, we should have played the Oracle, shouldn't we, to beat Thoughtseize Extirpate. But I can't imagine he has too many more copies of Thoughtseize. Okay, so Veil's just a redraw here. Uber Eats, yeah, okay, no, it's a dodgy app, but mostly because it makes me want to buy food. Usually shit that I just really don't need. So we put Brainstorm on the bottom or Unearth on the bottom. I actually can't remember. I should get better at that. So what are we doing? Alright, well we can't actually do anything this turn, so I'm going to yield until end of turn. Actually, no I'm not. I'm going to wait till the end of the match and then I'll go grab another beer. Yeah, I agree. Nobody who's starving to death is ordering Uber Eats. Yes, it's Mr. Jared to you, Jack. So I wonder what he's thinking about. So he knows our hand. So I guess he's got to figure out whether or not he can actually combo. So does he want to try to like breach Thoughtseizes? But that's not a good idea. I'm currently drinking a Pirate Life mid-strength beer so that I am able to have my brain function throughout this match. Yeah, we definitely should have played the Thassa's Oracle. Because if he extirpates here, we're actually fucked. Okay, so what's that? 6? Yeah, okay, cool. GG. Alright, we will go to the next match in just a minute. I'll be back. Alright, so let's get on to our next match and hopefully not play against Brain Freeze again. Given what Moto looks like at the moment, it's almost definitely going to be a Brain Freeze deck, but let's see what happens. Maybe we should play like a... Adrian, you know this. It's like, what are the instant speed reanimation spells? We will keep this, and I think we can... just lead on an Underground Sea here. There's a question as to whether or not we cycle Underground Sea in response to a Wasteland to get a redraw. But I don't think that's worth it. So we're not looking for lands at the moment. Shallow Grave, that would be nice. Once Upon a Time, okay, so I guess it's either Eldrazi or Depths. Okay, it's Depths. And we'll preordain again. I guess we're just digging for... we're definitely just digging for Doomsday now. So this should be a fairly trivial pile. Green Suns for 1 is fine. So this is with the Brainstorm. If we hit the Doomsday, it should be a trivial pile. So I guess he's going to get the Depths end step or something. Does Blast Zone Warriors? No, it does not. Okay, so we need probably... guess we're not digging for a... this is annoying. Okay. I'm surprised he didn't reclaim her there. Oh, okay, that's right. He's already got the Depths. Never mind. So... Oracle could let us dig for a... I guess he's just going to reclaim her for the annoying protection land. If we were to get a Strix down. So one of our outs at the moment would be to put an Oracle into play, use it to try and scry for a Strix, use Edge of Autumn to draw the Strix, and then that buys us a turn. But given he can just... so this turn he'll make Dark Depths. Next turn he would be able to just get the Sajiri step using the Reclaimer, sacrificing like Blast Zone. And we lose anyway. So... okay. I think we're just dead. So what do we want here? I guess we kind of like Veil, Flusterstorms, or a maybe. It might be a Divining Witch matchup. Okay, so I don't think we want Cabal Therapy. What does Decay do for us? So this is our maybe pile here. I don't think we want all of them. Okay, now let's just keep it fairly streamlined. We won't keep the Therapy. They have too many different things and it doesn't hit lands. Thoughtseize is medium, but it does hit threats. We want the Strix. We will trim on a... They do play Wasteland, so I guess I kind of want to... I guess if they're Wastelanding us, they're probably not comboing. And a Street Wraith again. Alright, let's try this. Decay hits like Reclaimer and Bob. So the reason to cycle the Edge of Autumn, not cycle the Edge of Autumn there, it doesn't do anything. Alright, this seems fine. Don't really like the Street Wraith here. Do like the Preordain. So the question becomes, what do we force here? What can he actually play that is worth casting Force of Will on? Reclaimer's fairly slow, we're not going to worry about that for now. We don't need a second Force of Will. We do want a Veil of Summer, as they probably do play some form of discard. Sphere of Resistance, we will actually force that. I guess we just Doomsday here. They probably don't have another resistor. And we have a Waterlogged Grove. So what are we going to take? We're going to take like a couple of Cyclers, an Oracle, I guess we probably want like a Brainstorm and maybe an Unearth. So I guess if we've got a Brainstorm in the pile, we probably want an LED as well. Okay, so if we Thoughtseize them, maybe we don't take the Unearth and we take a Thoughtseize. So we can draw the Thoughtseize next turn, cycle into the Brainstorm. So we're going to have 4 cards next turn, 3 cards next turn. Brainstorm lets us draw 3 cards. Uh, all right, let's try this. Yeah, we have enough life, man. Like, life, I don't think will be an issue here. So, we want to draw the Thoughtseize. We want to have these 3 cards on the bottom. Maybe that's not correct. So it's going to cost us 2 mana to... Okay, no, that's fine. Or is it? So he's going to ship away a Vesuva, grab a Dark Depths. Okay, we don't care about the life there. Do we care about a resistor? Probably no. Alright, we'll drop an Oracle into play with the 0 cards in library, so no removal spell will beat us. And we'll try this again, and this time we won't stuff up our pile. Once again, do we want Divining Witches? Is Divining Witch maybe better than an Unearth? Oh, too late. So if they're playing Post, is this Post Depths? So maybe we don't need the Veils. Veils were probably incorrect in this case. Oh, we're definitely casting the Thoughtseize. So what can he actually cast this turn, and what do we actually care about? I think we can beat the Dismember, so I guess it's probably Khan the Great Creator? Yeah, Khan the Great Creator. It's not that we can't beat that card, it's just that it's the hardest card for us to beat. Okay, so another Veil. I guess we want maybe a Tropical Island. No, we don't really like green that much, and we have access to a green source. So I guess we're grabbing another Underground Sea. Because I think we want a lot of black. I mean, this should do it, right? So I think what the line here is... Alright, what's he Ancient Tombing for? I guess another Ancient Tomb to cast a Golos. So interesting question here becomes, okay, so we're definitely going to go like Dark Ritual Doomsday. How many cards can we draw this turn? So if we were to cycle into like a cantrip, cycle into a cycler, into a cycler, into... So 4 cards. Actually, Baleful Strix. Into cycle. So we definitely want an Oracle. An Edge. A Street Wraith. A Preordain. And maybe like a Lotus Petal, I guess. So how deep can we go this turn? So Strix is going to put us at 4 cards in library, 3 cards in library, 2 cards in library, 1 card in library. With the Baleful Strix, we should have enough devotion to beat a single Dismember. So it's going to be Petal on the bottom. Oops, sorry. Yeah, so it's just the Dismember that we need to play around at the moment, right? So if we have... Actually, tell you what. Oh, bugger. The Petal should have been an Unearth, just in case. But Petal's going on the bottom. Oracle, Preordain, Edge of Autumn, Street Wraith. And we bottom the Petal, top the Oracle, and we lose to Mindbreak, Trap, or double Dismember. Hey, cool, alright, we figured it out. Hey Dukes, how are you, man? Yeah, so Adrian, it's just about managing the combination of life total and devotion, and the Dismember just can fuck with our devotion, so that's just what we got to play around. So I'm still kind of working this out. I still really suck at it and trying to figure out hate, but... Oh, nice. Let me know how you finish up there, Dukes. Yeah, this is like a really... no, Jack, you can't be modded. We'll leave Justin as the mod. Yeah, this deck's been like a really weird, fun thing to play. Like, I have no idea what I'm doing half the time, but it's been kind of exciting to work it out, and it kind of plays into what I like, in that it's just, it's a weird combo control deck. Yeah, exactly, and look how well that panned out. Alright, so I guess we're pondering or preordaining here. Like, I guess we don't actually know what our opponent's on, so we'll just lead on the preordain. I do want the Strix, I don't want the Oracle just yet. Oh, dude, ban the word Thalia. Is there a bot that will change the word Thalia to whatever I want it to be? Alright, so at the moment we look like some kind of weird, very out of date, like blue-black base control deck. We played around Wasteland beautifully. Chalice of the Void on 1. Fuck. So I guess we probably actually want to board in Divining Witch for our next match. Alright, good luck, Dukes. Oh, shit. What is this? Alright, so I guess we're going to play out the pedal. Do we play the Oracle? Just to keep a clock up. That's an interesting question. Okay. I guess we could do with the filtering as well. Alright, so we have a Doomsday. We just need a land now. So the good news is I think we can beat... I think we can beat the Chalice with Predict. Okay, so for this to beat Chalice main, what we do is we actually just, if we rip a land or a petal, we Doomsday make a predict pile with a bunch of cyclers and an oracle, and we can actually just hard cast it. So a win condition is actually not particularly contingent on casting 1-drops, because we can... Do you want to see less against Grixis? What the fuck is Tragic Lesson? Alright, so he's getting a lot of mana. Okay, so Knight's probably going to be a problem and means we need to start holding up our creatures. Okay, perfect. So we're going to cast Doomsday here. Now, we want Predict, Thassa's Oracle, Predict, Edge of Autumn, Street Wraith. Maybe we don't need the Street Wraith. So if we predict... So what are we going to draw next turn? We're going to predict into an Oracle plus another card. Now, if I... So we'll go to 4 cards, we'll go to 3 cards, we'll go to 1 card. So if we actually do like... Yeah, Street Wraith is fine. Street Wraith and a... Let's say like an Underground Sea. So what are we going to go to? We're going to go to... We're going to go to 7. We have a lot of blockers up. Alright, so let's take a tropical island. So we just need the trop so that we can hard cast the Oracle. So we are going to... Oh. So I want the bottom cards to be you, Street Wraith, Predict. So we have a Street Wraith on top. We're going to get Wastelanded here. So we actually need the other land for our land drop. So remind me next turn when we go for it that we need to... Ah, we have an Unearth. That's interesting. So we can cycle the Unearth, so we don't actually need to cycle any cards. No, actually, so that fucks up our Predict pile. So unless he taps the Wasteland, we can't do it. So at the moment, our enemies are a way to push through 7 damage, or a Chalice on 2. Or possibly a Resistor as well. So a Thalia plus a Wasteland would be very difficult for us to beat. I guess they're not playing Thalia these days because they're playing 3 colours rather than 4. So we don't mind losing our Strixes here. We're actually not contingent at all on the Devotion. He can remove the Oracle and we will still be able to win. So the question becomes here, is Veil good against this deck? Knight is fine. Street Wraith is the card on top. And this is deterministic now. So I guess we want something like Pernicious Deeds, Abrupt Decays. We might want Ensnare. And we might want Fatal Pushes. We might want Divining Witches. So I think I'm not enthusiastic about Veil, Cabal Therapy. I think we're playing a bit slower, so maybe a Lotus Petal is a fine cut. Okay, so I guess we're not going to play Pushes. And we're not going to play into their Chalice plan. Okay, and they have Bajuka Bog available, so maybe we don't keep in the Unearth. Although it does give us like a really good... Okay, let's keep the Unearth. And we'll get rid of... Do we get rid of a Wraith or an Edge? I guess a Wraith. And we will... Yeah, we brought in the Witches. Oh shit, that's not a good hand. That is much better. And I guess we'll pitch the Unearth for now. I guess we're fetching Basic Island and casting a Preordain. Okay, Chalice on 1 is fine. That definitely makes our hand a lot better. So what we're going to do is probably fetch CC, play Strix. So he can't take us off black particularly easily. Because we do want to be able to... we do want to be able to hard cast our Doomsday at some point. Hey, cool, and a Force of Will. Would have been nice to have the Force a little bit earlier, but we will cope. So we should probably just draw 2 cards here. And nope. So, Ensnare has some extra text on it, which I'm just reading now, which actually means I think we might be able to use it. If we can hit just like one more fetch, we can use Ensnare to generate an extra black mana. By, you know, oh fuck. So this is interesting. Do I set myself back 2 land drops? Alright, let's try this. So 1 more land and we get to cast a Doomsday. Our opponent's now burnt through 2 wastelands. Sure, Rex Sage is fine. Yeah, I know it's annoying. It would have been nice to be able to cast the Doomsday, but can only do so much. So I guess we cycle the Unearth in response to anything that's going to annoy us, or just in the end step. So this is difficult now, because now any Doomsday that we cast needs to win us the game on the spot. I think we can actually concede from here, because we will go to 8 next turn. We would need to Abrupt Decay. Oh yeah, okay, fair point. Alright, we'll concede. Yeah, we needed to draw a removal spell of some form. Is there anything that we want to do differently? Maybe we do want the pedal. Maybe it's a Preordain. It might have to be a Preordain. Just seems like the weakest card against Chalice of the Void, which is our main issue at the moment. Alright, I'm going to be back in a sec. Okay, I'm back, and we get to be on the play, which is going to be nice. It'd be nice to have a Force of Will in an opening hand, like this. Now, I almost want to fetch a Seed of Thoughtseize, but I think I need to be a little bit more conservative than that. I do like the Dark Ritual, I don't like the Doomsday. And the question from here becomes, what do we pitch to the Force? I think it's the Brainstorm rather than the Preordain, because I think the Preordain helps us filter better to find our black source. He's going to have the fucking Chalice of the Void again, isn't he? Every fucking time. Alright. Do we lead on the Thoughtseize? Nah, okay, we just Dark Ritual Doomsday here. Alright, and I think we're just going to do something like what we did before, which is... Okay, so we want a Predict, a stack of Cyclers, so Edge, Street Wraith, Oracle. We need more mana. Okay, so we want to draw into... So we want to predict away a Street Wraith. Maybe we just have to do a Brainstorm pile. So the problem that we have at the moment... Alright, okay, I guess we have to do maybe like a... We might have to do an Unearth pile here. Although an Unearth pile... Does an Unearth pile... They probably don't have Crop Rot for Bog. So I think we're safe in that regard. Although maybe we can just play around it. We can't play around another Chalice. But I think if we do something like... Maybe we take an LED next turn, Preordain into... Predict. To draw 2 cards. Lion's Eye Diamond. Ponder? Because we're going to have oodles of mana, right? So, we want maybe something like... So we're going to be down to 4 cards. Alright, so we're going to draw LED. We're going to have 4 cards in library. We're going to cycle into Preordain, which is going to give us 3 cards in library. Predict. Okay, we don't want the Predict. Although, okay, so Predict, draw the last 2 cards. So Predict will be 4 cards, 3 cards. No, okay, so we can't do predict. Alright, so I guess we just put the predict on the bottom then. We'll just take an edge. Let's just take an edge. Okay, so how many cards are we going to draw next turn? We're going to draw one. So I guess it has to be the petal on the bottom. Now we can predict away Ponder, but it doesn't give us enough. I guess if we get like petal... No, because it doesn't draw us enough cards. We need to have basically 4 mana, which we can't do without some weird contortions here. So this is our pile. I guess we'll put petal on the bottom or Ponder on the bottom. Petal. Oracle. Edge, Ponder, Lion's Eye Diamond. Yeah, draw LED, preordain. Oh yeah, true, okay. No, because we need to have LED plus predicts, man, so we can't actually... It's like the problem is the total number of cards we wind up with in hand. Dark Confidant is absolutely fine. Do not shuffle, and we'll cast the Oracle, and I think that should do it. Dismember would kill us. Okay. It's been fun so far. Yeah, but we don't need to, and we can't play around Chalice of the Void regardless of what we do at this point in time. So, why bother? I guess if we take 2 turns to do it, but he has, like, Leovold actually kills us at pretty much any point. Alright, hopefully not another fucking Chalice deck or like something with lock pieces. I'd like to kind of play against a blue deck. This is tempting, but I'm not sure we can keep it. I guess any cantrip or land makes this hand good. So is that... That's near 50% of our draws, and we get a redraw with a Street Wraith. And I guess we have 2 draw steps to find it in, so let's keep. It's on the edge. Look, this hand's... It's tempting to mull. What do you mean I can't beat fair stuff? I beat Chalice on one, man. Okay, fuck. We are in trouble. We are playing against Reanimator. So I guess we've got some cards for this matchup. Strix is actually almost nice here, except that we can't cast it for a couple of turns. I guess we have to... do we force the Faithless looting? No, we don't. Like, there's an argument to force the looting, just because it, you know, can... Alright, what's this going to be? I think we're going to force pitch predict. There's going to be a trigger. Oh, for fuck's sake. Alright, whatever. That's a misclick on my behalf. The Chancellor triggers are a fucking nuisance on Moto. Because it's really easy to click through when the trigger gets activated. I think I want these cards and maybe a Veil. I think I don't want Cabal Therapy. I actually don't want the Strixes. I'm cutting a basic. And I need one more card. Maybe I only need 3 Veils. Okay. Okay, and this I think I have to mulligan. Or do I? No, I do. Okay. Fuck. So this is not a good hand, but we will give it a go. And hope like fuck. Sure, we don't care about the Chancellor. We can pay for that. We just need... Well, we can't misclick on it this time. I guess the lesson there is just fetch before you let the trigger get put on the stack, but... So the Veil's kind of nice. We're going to be able to cycle it to get another look at a land. So you're going to win 2-man step. Do we actually need to do anything here? So he's probably going to cast like a Thoughtseize here. Now if he goes like Dark Ritual and Tomb afterwards, Alright, well, let's put some mana in the mana pool and cast a Surgical on the Iona. We would much rather... Surgical a Grizzlebrand, as that's a much bigger problem, but we got to make do. Okay, Faithless Looting, Chancellor Unmask. He's actually got nothing and nothing in his library. What does he have? So he has an Elishnorn, which I don't really care about. He's got Entombs. He's down to 3 Grizzledicks. Shenanigans, Return to Nature. Okay, that's fine. We remembered to click the copy in his library, which is good. Veil does do things, Jack. So, like, often the way they win is just by unmasking the shit out of you. Veil buys you a turn for that. And we are 100% thought seizing here. Yeah, look, absolutely, but like we get to cycle a Veil, we get to protect ourselves for a turn. I guess we take the Unmask. Okay, so we're actually going to hold the Flusterstorm up. So the reason to hold up the Flusterstorm here instead, we can cantrip for a land next turn, and this way we get to hold up like Veil Fluster. So what's he going to do? What's he got? He's got a Chancellor in hand. And I think we're definitely cycling the Veil this turn. Maybe not. Are we incentivized to cycle the Veil here? I think we could sit on it. Okay, we'll bottom the edge, we'll take the land. Okay, well, we're definitely taking the Shenanigans here. So I think we have to hold up the Force for now. We will draw another blue card eventually. Either that or we'll just draw the Doomsday. It doesn't really matter from there. Okay, so he's going to flashback Faithless Looting. So I guess he gets to pitch a Chancellor and whatever else. And we're going to hope that he casts like a Thoughtseize. Alright, let's ponder. So the reason we ponder there is because with the Brainstorm in hand, hitting Doomsday wins on the spot. I think it has been tried before. Alright, well, we're definitely cycling one of these Veils first chance we get. Christ, this is getting really rough for us. So from here, getting a bit flooded. If needs be, alright, well, we definitely want the Doomsday. And we're just going to make a very straightforward predict pile. Maybe we're not, because we might actually need to Veil. Maybe we make a Brainstorm pile. Yeah, I think we're making a Brainstorm pile. And what we're actually going to do is we might take a Surgical Extraction. So the reason to take a Surgical here is that they cast any reanimation spell, we're going to draw it. And Surgical can be our top card. You know what we can also do? Although actually, okay, so no, we make a Brainstorm pile with a Surgical Extraction just under the Brainstorm. Okay, so what's our opponent going to do here? Okay, he's welcome to exile a card from our graveyard. So we'll take a Surgical Extraction, Brainstorm. We Surgicaled him before. What did we see? Probably should have snapshotted that. So Veil draws a Surgical, and then we get the Brainstorm next turn. Okay, so we need a Thassa's Oracle, a Lion's Eye Diamond, and a Cycler. So we do something like Lion's Eye Diamond, Thassa's Oracle, Edge of Autumn. Okay, no, it does have to be this way. So we go to 4 cards, we'll go to 3 cards, we'll go to 2 cards. So we're going to get to see every card in our deck. Actually, that's probably fine anyway. Alright, so Lion's Eye Diamond can go on the bottom. Thassa's Oracle can be second. Edge of Autumn, Surgical Extraction, Brainstorm. Alright, so we can have a little bit of fun here in that we get to... Let's lead on a Brainstorm. So we will go down to 4 cards in library. And we're just going to hardcast the Oracle from here with Veil, Flusterstorm backup. Okay, so we took this one. We have to win one more game. This is going to be a very tough one. Veil was nice. I'm more incentivized to have it now we know about the... now we know about the trophy. Although it was often worthless. Okay, no, we're going to just leave it to 3 Veils. That should be ample. Turn 1 combo through a Chancellor would be Dark Ritual, Doomsday, Lotus Petal, Fetch Land, Lion's Eye Diamond, Cycler. Oh, okay. You mean that. I think we actually can turn 1 combo. We'd have to have exactly the nuts, and it's a pretty twisted 7. Alright, I mean, we're keeping this. It's not amazing, but we're keeping it. Actually, no, it's good enough. Yeah, we have cantrips and we have interaction. Okay, is there a there is no Chancellor, so he must have a discard spell. Oh, actually, no. Okay, we're still in the mulligan phase. Never mind, I was just in the toilet. We're going to keep. Mate, I wish I could play Heirloom Minotaur. The art on that card is sick as fuck. Oh, for fucking shit, cunt piecer. Alright, so I don't need to throw anything into... I will use a Brainstorm to clear the Chancellor trigger if opponent doesn't do enough. It's like if we don't get a chance to clear the trigger, I'm happy to throw a Brainstorm into it. Our hand's pretty good. And I think I kind of need a land here. And I think I have to shuffle anything that's not. Do I want to keep the force? So force might be a good enough reason to... Actually, tell you what. We can do something a bit rude here. Okay, so I should really be looking for another land, but I'm not going to. And so what we're going to do is we're going to hold up Force of Will through a Thoughtseize. No, we don't want to sacrifice a land to clear the top. We will cycle the Street Wraith, but we'll do it on our turn, I think. That's a bit upsetting. We will pitch the edge. So I guess he has to take Surgical here. Maybe not. Maybe he can bait us with the Surgical. And Tomb is fine. Dude, if the top card of our deck is a land, I'm going to be stoked. Iona is... Okay, so he's going to bait us with the Iona. Which seems legit. Can we hit a land? Okay, so I kind of want all of these. I wish I still had that Street Wraith now. This should give us a deterministic win next turn. We just need to fade the inevitable reanimation spell. If opponent doesn't do anything, we will Surgical them to get a look at their hand. And we're just going to see if there's anything we need to be worried about. Assassin's Trophy, I think, is very much beatable. Okay, so how are we going about this? We're going to start by fetching. We're going to go Dark Ritual Doomsday. We should have played out the LED to see if we could bait the Assassin's Trophy. So I guess I want like Edge, Street Wraith. Do we take a fetch land? Maybe we take a fetch land. No, wait, maybe we take, yeah, maybe Waterlogged Grove. Lotus Petal Oracle. Does that work? So if we brainstorm, hold priority, draw Street Wraith, draw Edge, we have 1 mana left for Waterlogged Grove. So we don't want Petal, I guess we just want the other Street Wraith. Although we could brainstorm into... Okay. So maybe if we actually go like... Lotus Petal Cantrip. So we will go something like Brainstorm, draw 1, 2, 3 cards. No, so yeah, okay, so we're going to trade. Okay, so no, that seems okay. So I think we can do this. So Oracle needs to be the bottom card. And we are going to take something like... And I think we need to put back Preordain. So that's going to give us 4 cards, 3 cards. Feels really nice beating Black-Red Reanimator, I'm going to be honest. With beating them this easily as well. It's playing Force of Will, Flusterstorm, Surgical, and Veil definitely makes a big difference in this matchup. Okay, so we can Preordain. No, okay, so we need to... There should be a Preordain on top. If there's not, we fucked up. Put on the bottom of my library. Put on top. Draw the Oracle. And we will beat the trophy in hand. Okay. Here's welcome to trophy. We will... Yeah, take it. No, he won't. He's going to trophy us just because he should trophy. It's not really... He knows how it's going to work. He just... that's why he said GG. I need to go grab my last tin of mid-strength beer anyway. I'll be back in a minute. We'll play our last match, and then I might jam some vintage next. So just bear with me. Okay, drinking full-strength beer slower doesn't work for me because I drink all beer at the same speed, which is way too fucking fast. And yeah, I'm not worried about cheaper, man. Like, I'm going to drink the same number of beers regardless. This just means I can play Doomsday. And actually, these are a pretty nice mid-strength beer. If anybody hasn't tried them, Pirate Life has a throwback IPA that tastes pretty damn good, to be honest. And is exactly one standard drinker can. So, Adrian, I don't know if you're still in chat. Adrian's just sent me a picture of the beer he's drinking, which is a stout, which looks amazing. I do have a stout in my fridge. I just haven't got to it yet. So, funny story, Jack. When I first built this deck, I was using a list that played Oko in the sideboard. When I was testing it a little, I just found Oko really mediocre in this deck. Cool, we have a match. Just opening a window to get a little bit of air in here. It is warming up this afternoon. I think I'm keeping this hand and going Thoughtseize Go. Any black land next turn gives me Doomsday. So I think I have a large number of hits to get Doomsday off next turn, and I can cycle a Street Wraith to help that happen. All right. Guess we just take the vial. Does anything else matter here? Have it duel. Oh, munitions expert. So I guess vial slows them down. I'm not sure if it's the correct name. Like, but vial lets them play multiple, like make multiple plays, and that's the problem. Okay, that should do it. I guess I just make a predict pile here. We're just going to be lazy. Predict, Unearth, Thassa's Oracle, Lotus Petal, and any other card. So maybe we just take like a Street Wraith. I don't think they can do 9 damage to us in a turn with no creatures on the board yet. Oh wait, can we just win this turn? I think we can. We haven't played a land yet, have we? So we can cycle into Predict. Okay, so we want to draw something like... Let's play around Lightning Bolt because we can. We're going to go to 9. That'll take us to 5, cycling 2 Street Wraiths. So let's go Lotus Petal, Street Wraith, Unearth, Oracle, Predict. And they should probably just concede... Oh, no, I guess they need to see the win con play out. So this might actually be a pretty tough matchup. Decks that clock you really quickly are actually much harder than most other things. Like, you can beat Chalice, you can beat Graveyard Hate, you can beat, like, 90% of what's in the format. Thassa's Oracle. But decks that play shit like Lightning Bolt are actually quite tough. Okay, you've not played against goblins on an empty board often enough, man. They go like Lackey into Pile Driver into... Glad you're liking it there. Okay, so we don't want Veils. Although, does Veil... How does Veil interact with... So we know they're playing black. We want Fatal Pushers. Divining Witch might be slow. And Snare's probably good. So I don't think we care about Cabal Therapy. I guess we probably don't want the Veils. Like, it does something, but it's narrow. And maybe we cut the Preordain. And something like that, maybe? Alright, so I guess we got a Force and some cantrip, so we'll keep this. Okay, so there's a question as to whether or not we force the Lackey. So the Lackey's the way they beat us quickly. Without the lackey, their clock is a lot slower. They're 2 cards in hand, which means they probably don't have a lot to put in. So maybe we let that go, and we worry about actual hate pieces. Alright, well, if we can hit a black source, this will be fine. Alright, let's just play to win. So we can force something next turn. Matron, what does Matron get? Sling Gang Lieutenant? Sure. So Surgical is going to blow us out with the line that we're going to choose. But they only have 1 unknown card. So we want like a Cycler, a Lion's Eye Diamond, a Preordain, a Thassa's Oracle, and I guess maybe a Lotus Petal? So what cards are we actually going to draw? So we probably want to draw like... oh, okay. No, I know what we need to do. So it needs to be Lion's Eye Diamond, Edge of Autumn, Lotus Petal on top. Oh, we need the Oracle. Or does it? Because we're going to brainstorm and then we need to cycle into... okay. So Lotus Petal doesn't need to be on top, but these 3 do. There are many things that can go wrong here. So we want to put back something like Unearth, Preordain. I guess we could predict away an Oracle. That's fine. Let's just hope we stacked this right. There's many things that can go wrong here. So hey, cool, and we got a 4-1 playing Doomsday. How's that? Alright everyone, I'm feeling pretty good about today, so hey, what did I do, man? Yeah, okay, so Doomsday can be real fast sometimes. Alright, so I said we might play some Dredge. I'm feeling in a... some Vintage, and I'm feeling in a Dredge mood, so we're going to do that. Give me a minute, and I will All right, Jared, we're going to talk your language. Who is Elbows SEA? I will shout you out, but we're playing actual Magic, Jack. We just played a control deck. Alright, so for anyone not familiar with what we're going to be playing, this is the list I have been trying out. It is basically just current pitch dredge. You've got 4 Force, 4 Unmask, 4 Cabal Therapies as your kind of main interaction in the main deck. You can board into like Mind Break Traps and Force of Vigors, which just helps you like churn through combo decks. I'm playing a slightly budget version because I don't really want to buy Force of Negation. Ah, hey Tim. Did you enjoy my my beautiful stream there? So yeah, this is how we beat combo decks. We can be a little bit soft to them normally, and I don't want to buy Force of Negations online. They're like $60 US. Adrian, if you have Bazaars for Masters, I would love to borrow them, because I will play this for Masters. If you happen to have 4 available. Otherwise, if you only have 1 or 2, Jared should probably... should definitely be on that. Anyway, we're going to quit fucking about. I'm going to jump straight into this. I'm going to go to the toilet. Give me a sec. Tim, I can't believe you weren't here watching the rest of the Doomsday League. It will be up for a while. You will be able to rewatch it, but it felt pretty good. Okay, so I think I've just set up Stream Decker to update what we're on. Let's get to bashing. So because we're playing Vintage, it's going to probably take a little bit longer to get a pairing. Oh no, there we go. So I stopped playing this deck for a little while due to a particular issue that it can occasionally have, which is where you don't find a Bazaar. Now, one of the reasons I have been playing it a lot more lately, opponents kept 7, is because the London Mulligan has made it wildly more consistent. And I think I've only played maybe 2 games in quite a few leagues where I have not found a Bazaar. We're going to powder this, and we're going to bottom probably like a Narcomoeba, and maybe a Force of Will. So we're trying to keep like our stronger effects in our library. Bridge is fine, but isn't necessary per se. Probe is alright, but it's a singleton, so we're unlikely to draw it anyway. Fucking hell. Oh no, there we go. Okay. Masters is Queen's Birthday long weekend. Alright, so we're going to go up to 6 cards, down to 4 with Bazaar plus Activate. And we're going to want to unmask. So far, it looks like the Thug is going to be our card to unmask with. Okay, this hand produces a shit ton of mana. See? 4 mana this turn. And then next turn, it's going to produce at least another 4. And possibly more. Alright, so Bazaar Activate. We kind of want the Amalgam in the bin. So what we actually do this turn is we're going to pitch the 2 dredges in the Icarid so that we can guarantee we get to dredge twice next turn. And we're going to hold the amalgams to discard to the Bazaar when we activate. Guess we have to take Dark Ritual here. So what did he do with the Preordain? So this matchup's generally like pretty good post-board, but can be hard pre-board. With the configuration that we're playing. Cast Preordain, 1 top, 1 bottom. So he's drawing blind. But then honestly he's got double tutor, but only one of them is good at the moment. So DT makes 1 mana, it puts him on 3. So I guess we just take the Dark Ritual. Okay, rest of the deck's easy, man. Thank you very much. That's Delta out. It's probably worth him playing either a Duress or a Defense Grid here, because he doesn't know the rest of my hand. Now that's assuming he doesn't just like have a win. I think something like Cabal Ritual. No, that only gets him to 4. Dark Ritual DT Lotus might actually win him the game here. Not sure about anything else, but okay, yeah, Duress is correct. Have we exiled any? Okay, so we still have all our Cabal therapies and we have a nicely slimmed deck. And I guess we exile a... Do we exile Shambling Shell or Ashen Rider? It's probably Shambling... No, it's probably... It's like Ashen Rider from here might be a bit of a win-more card. Although, to be fair, we don't need the Shambling. Oh, maybe we do. Because we're going to draw the Imp. DPS is not unplayable in Vintage, it's just not very good. Like, it used to be quite a strong deck once upon a time, and unfortunately has just... It's outclassed by outcome. Xerox is not as soft to it as it used to be. Collector Roof can be a problem. You do get to do cool shit like tinker into Bolas's Citadel, which I like. We're going to take Demonic Tutor here. So, Demonic Tutor is the scariest card in his hand at the moment. Mystical Tutor gets him Ancestral. So, I mean, look, one of the strengths of DPS is it's actually, like, surprisingly relatively good against shops. Just for a bit of, like, a sense of its genuine strength. It's just... struggles with faster combos with Force of Will, of which they kind of... It's just more than they used to be. Okay, do we have lethal on board yet? So what's this? 9, 12, 14. He's on 1. Okay. So post board, we're going to basically just be bringing in like almost every card that can really fuck him up. Force of Vigor is useful, can be really frustrating. Breach features in Vintage, but not a lot. Like, it exists. It's just not doing a great deal. So we're cutting a Dread Return package. It doesn't do a lot for us in this matchup. Sorry about the freight train. Your mic's probably picking that up. So the Dread Return package isn't going to give us a fast win here. The interactions with Ashen Rider are cute, but not necessary. We're trimming down on our Icarus, so we're going down to 3. 3 is heaps for this matchup. Trim a Thug because we need to cut something, and it can't be a blue card, it can't be a Shambling Shell because of Force of Vigor, and it can't be a Serum Powder. And we kind of want Unmasked, Narcomoebas, Missteps, everything like that. And we're going to cut a Bridge because Bridge doesn't do as much work post-board. All right, back in a moment. Okay, we're going to keep this hand. We have Force of Will, Bazaar, Gataxian Probe. We have a green card for Force of Vigor. We have a Dredger. The only card we're not excited to have in our hand here is Serum Powder because we have the Bazaar. So this is a snap keep. No, we have another hollow one. I also just realised I have not been updating my... deck or my score. So, that is now updated. You can have a Gataxian Probe. So they probably have either a fast win or a Tormod's Crypt. That's kind of normally what I would expect out of DPS. Keeping 7. It's possible they just have a really resilient hand. So I think we're going to probe them. Although maybe they... Okay, so there's an interesting question here because they may or may not play Rav Traps. They probably shouldn't because of Citadel, but their Dredge matchup is bad enough that it's kind of relevant. So I think we're going to probe... Okay. They kept because of an A call. Yeah, I don't think Fatal Push was a good card to bring in. Like, I guess it can buy a turn on an Icarud off a fetch, but I don't really like it, I've got to say. So I wonder if this is Tinker. If it's Citadel Tinker. Ah, shit. So there's a bunch of things we can beat here. Petition gives them 4 mana. I mean, even exiling spot removal isn't amazing against Dredge, man. Like, so there's a question here. So they're not going to get Yawgmoth's Will, because that doesn't do anything. Tinker or Necro, unless their last 2 cards are like Lotus, LED or something like that. Lotus or LED plus like another tutor effect. Twister. All right. Let's get a go at redrawing Force of Vigor. I'm taking them off Mana Jack. If they're drawing Moxes, I don't care. Moxes are not the problem. This looks like a problem. Like, I'm more worried about tutors and things like that than I'm about Moxen. Yeah, I think we're dead. If this is like almost any card in their deck, yeah, okay. Petition kills us. So they haven't seen Mindbreak Trap yet, which is good for us. Yeah, so it's not terribly unusual for like a Twister to have to pass the turn. Twister's just bad for me because of its interaction with my graveyard. Sorry about that. I just got a phone call. All right, so we will play first. We will powder, and we will keep. So the fact that we haven't found any interaction yet is probably going to be a problem for us. Although the fast win that we're going to get off the second bazaar might actually be enough. Preordain's fine. I assume this means they have a crypt. Or they think they can find one. Okay, so we really, really need to find a Cabal Therapy or 3 kind of right now. And I think the first therapy is going to name something like Dark Petition. Okay, well we found 3, so good job on my behalf for you know. So we'll name Dark Petition to begin with. And then we'll just take whatever else is relevant. So what do we want? I guess we probably... Can he cast Desire next turn? He can't cast Desire next turn. Oh wait, he can. So I guess we take like Citadel Desire. Because there, I think the cards that do the most against us. Okay, so he's going to fluster, and now I don't think he can get the Desire off. Because I think the actual, like, kill spells are the ones that are the problem. So Desire's really good if he rips any piece of fast mana, like most pieces of fast mana. He has a fuck ton of it. Whereas, like, Citadel wins the game on the spot. Mine's Desire, usually, like, even a smallish one can probably, like, it just draws you a bunch of cards. And look, yes and no. The problem is the amount of just mana sources that the deck plays just makes it really difficult. just doing this now to play around Rav Trap. It's probably not there. And we are going to play around Ancestral Recall in hand. And so we're just going to draw 3. That should be ample. Probably, Jack. Like, drawing your entire library, or like drawing 10 cards, which is essentially what tendrils, what you know, the same kind of kill you need for tendrils. Like, being able to draw that much of your library is always going to be a problem, right? Like, a new 10 cards is nuts. Look, Mind's Desire is fucked. Don't get me wrong. So what's he actually got in hand? He's got a Dark Ritual and a Mind's Desire, right? So I actually don't think it matters what we take here. I actually know it does, because I'm not sure if he has anything left in his deck that we care about. It's possible, like Dark Petition or Demonic Tutor are problems, but this is that time where Dark Ritual is actually better than Desire, because Desire is basically cut off. Like, Desire for 2 is not the same as Desire for 4 to 6. I feel a bit bad for our opponent there, but we kind of didn't play around anything and ended up having it all, so. This is Pitch Dredge, so this plays no mana. So this does not play any card that produces any form of mana. Bazaar is essentially your mana source, and it fuels it by a fuck ton of free spells. This does cause problems, and it does mean that things like Single Sphere can be backbreaking, which is why you really should play like Force of Negations instead of Mindbreak Traps. But reality is, most of the time it's not terribly relevant. You can usually just get ahead fairly easily just off Bazaar and Icarids, given a little bit of time. What, you mean the wimpy little 2-1 that makes more zombies for me? Yeah. Don't really care about bridges, man. Like, bridges give you a very fast clock, but they are nowhere near essential to your plan in this deck. That's why we're happy to trim them. They help, but most of the time you're just outgrinding them by, like, outgrinding people by the sheer number of, like, recurable threats. So between your Amalgams and your Icarids, you just have 8 cards that are really hard to get rid of. if you get it down shore, the problem is Force of Vigor. So you'd probably have in that sequence. You'd imagine be going something like Needle, then Thalia. Force of Vigor and Force of Will and Mental Misstep end up taking pretty good care of all of that. And if you go Thalia first, you're probably losing anyway. Jared, I thought he bought his crack from you. All right, match 2. Isn't Wuhan where coronavirus is from? I wonder if that's like intentional or an unfortunate accident. All right, so we have to mulligan. All right, there's the Bazaar. That's fine. We will pitch a Narcomoeba with this hand, as the Narcomoeba doesn't actually do anything in and of itself. And we kind of don't mind having the second Narcomoeba, as we're going to see another 3 cards next turn. Sure, you can have an Ancestral. Alright, so we're going to see 2 more cards. We're not drawing a Force of Will just yet, but if we pitch something like Icarid, Serum Powder, Stinkweed Imp, Unmask, so I guess we take the Grindstone, as the Welder doesn't have a target yet. And I think that was probably a pretty gross first turn. Maybe we should have taken the Welder. Maybe the Welder was the correct name there just because... no, we don't care, I don't think. I think he needs the Welder. And I don't think we need our bridges. Whoops, that was a misclick. Okay, so this is actually going to get a little bit tough post-board. We might... So we definitely want Force of Vigors. There's a question about whether or not we want Ravenous Traps. And I think we might, because I think he might have Emery. And Rav Trap can deal with the Emery Crypt issue. I think we don't care about a Dread Return package again. I think that's fine. And then I guess we trim a bridge and maybe a thug. And play with the full complement of Icarids. Alright, let's try this. So I'm guessing I made my chat window a little small in the interface here, yeah? As it looks like it's almost unreadable. Alright, so I guess I need to work on that. We can't keep this hand. It does not have a bazaar. We kind of wish we could because it has almost everything else we want. But let's just go ahead and powder. Okay, this hand seems fine. So, alright, so we're not ready to... So we're going to keep double Force of Vigor up, I think. And I think we can do that... yeah, okay. So Anarch Amoeba is going to be the card we're going to have to pitch out of hand next turn, but I think we're doing well. Is that a Blightsteel Colossus? No. Okay. We're in good shape. Is he going to brain freeze me, or? It'd be exciting if he brain freezes me. So he's probably playing Ravenous Trap, but I think we're still going to Dredge anyway. Because I think we can do some gross stuff if we even start to get going. Oh wait, fucking Tabernacle. Okay, so... our goal at the moment is to get Icarids online. We don't pay for Tabernacle triggers, we try to beat them with Icarid. That's actually our out. So I wonder if maybe next game we want... like a... maybe we do keep a small Dread Return package in then next game. So what are we naming here? We're going to name something like... it clearly doesn't have a welder. Emery Lurker of the Loch. Pyroblast is looking really exciting here. So unfortunately, Prized Amalgam has a must trigger, not a may trigger. Maybe we stacked that wrong. So we're going to say no to Narcomoeba, so we don't have to deal with this. We're going to eat the Prized Amalgam with the Icarus. We're going to always yield to Prized Amalgam triggers, and we're not going to pay. Man, this is a very triggering deck. Oh shit, I should always... Alright, so I think we're doing okay now. What we are going to do is therapy and name our worst enemy. Maybe we name Demonic Tutor as well. So we're just leaving him with 2 Pyroblasts in hand. Which is not going to do a great deal from here. Okay, we don't care about the island. It might be annoying later if he starts drawing into relevant cards, but... we're going to have to remember to click through all the stupid zombies and then still... Right, let's start eating amalgams. And are we going to dredge? Yes, we are. Oh yeah, cool, that's nice. Alright, so we want these 3 in the bin. And I think this gives us lethal next turn unless he draws an out. Fuck it, too many damn zombie triggers. Okay, cool. That is 2-0. Alright, I am just going to be 5 minutes. Man, I look like a child right now with this writing. Alright, back soon. Yeah, I definitely look like a child, Adrian. Alright, so let's go to the next match. Yeah, Force of Will is a spell. Force of Vigor is a spell. Cabal Therapy is a spell. Come on, man. Hollow One's a spell. Alright, so let's just go back to the deck list. So for anyone that doesn't know Vintage very well, this is pretty much how most Vintage decks have coalesced. There are a couple of differences here. As I mentioned before, I am running a slightly non-standard list because I don't have Force of Negation, so we have an extra Dread Return, Icarid, and Unmask, which take the position of the 3 Force of Negations that you'd normally see, and you get a better sideboard. You get to play like Sickening Shoals, I think it is. If you have a bit more room, I guess we could go down to like 3 Mindbreak Traps and 2 Rav Traps for 2 Sickening Shoals, just to avoid Containment Priest or the Yixla Jailer, but Jailer's nowhere near as much of a beating as it used to be, with a combination of Force and Hollow ones. We'd hate to have to powder this post-board because of the 2 Hollow ones, but pre-board, Hollow one is not our primary plan. Okay, this is great. We have a Bazaar, a Force of Will, and a Hollow one, and 3 cards to pitch into the yard. We're going to be a little bit sad if our opponent has Wasteland. It's going to make our life much harder, but by and large, this seems to be it's the kind of hand you want to keep. We don't have many cards left in the library, so we're going to hit mostly gas. Preordain's fine. We haven't actually lost much action either. If that's a Narset, we're going to force it. So Lotus into Narset can be a little bit frustrating. We will force the Oath. And I guess we pitch these 3. Unmask using Thug. Play our Hollow one. And I think this is probably going to seal the game up. Oko doesn't do anything. So I guess we take Dig. And he's probably going to scoop from here. So if he's playing more than 1 Oko, that probably means he's on more traditional Oath. So there are 2 Oath decks kicking about. One plays Breach and Sun Titan, and one plays something like 4 Okos, and then the traditional or the slightly more traditional package of like Grizzlebrand, Niv Mizzet. So we'll get to trigger our Amalgam here. If we get a Dread Return, we might be interested in... I guess we'll eat a Stinkweed Imp. Yeah, like we might have been interested in casting a Dread Return for Ashen Rider and then sacking it to Cabal Therapy to try and take him off lands. Oko, Thief of Crowns. Okay, and we've left him with basically nothing. And I think lethal on board next turn. So what do we have? We actually have... Yeah, okay, so we got lethal already. Okay, so post-board's much harder. There's... Some of the Oath decks kicking about are playing... It's a 3-mana spell. I cannot for the life of me remember what it's called. We'll take the Rav Traps as well to exile their graveyard. I can't... It's like a Mind Scour or something like that. It's a 3-mana... Mill your opponent until you hit 4 lands. Which for us is basically game over. Alright, what do we want? We'll cut a bridge and we'll cut a thug. But given he's playing Traditional Oath, we're not going to see that card because it does require black. Instead, we're going to see like Rav Traps and Tormod Scripts. We're bringing in Rav Trap to do things like... He's probably got a one of Gaia's Blessing to stop him from milling out. A Rav Trap can prevent that. Unfortunately, this is a mulligan, and we don't have a powder. This is also a mulligan. So we're going to lose a lot of game twos, which is slightly annoying, but, you know, it's just the nature of the deck. So, like, being on the draw with a graveyard-dependent deck, your opponent gets bit of an advantage by the fact that it kind of takes you at least 2 turns to get going. So like we could almost be a bit cheeky here and like maybe consider keeping this hand, but I don't think it's good enough. So the reason to keep it would just be to see how the game plays out, but I think, you know, you're always just better off having the Bazaar. So I think I've lost connection. So I am going to... mulligan and keep. Pitching Force isn't going to do anything here, and I don't think we want the bridge.